it's Robin, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about coping with an injury, just in case you have one, and maybe you don't have the same kind of thing I do, but maybe you're struggling with, fatigue, or you have some sort of illness, or you have some kind of gut issues, or, there's so many things these days that we might be struggling with. And I think this applies to any kind of illness. It doesn't have to be like a traumatic injury, like an Achilles tendon rupture like I'm dealing with. So my name is Robin McFadden, and I really love to help people who are just struggling to make it through each day, because I have been there. Feel better so that you can really fully participate in all of life's great adventures. And so sometimes that means slowing down for a little while, and that's certainly what I'm doing right now. So in terms of coping with an injury and pacing yourself, the first thing you have to realize is that you can't do it all. So I think most of us women are used to just running around like crazy people, getting it done, doing, our to-do list is like as long as our arm. We never get to it all. And, we never feel accomplished at the end of the day, or at least I didn't for a really, really long time. And it's something I still struggle with. And, I have to let that go now because I am not accomplishing much. So you have to choose your top priorities for the day. And I started working on time management even before this injury. Actually, I have been for quite a while, because I was feeling that sense of not being accomplished at the end of the day. And it sucks, right? Like you go to bed and you're like, I was busy all day, but did I do anything that was important? Or I just didn't get as many things done as I needed to get done, right? So I started working on time management. And one of the things I learned is you really need to prioritize what you're doing that day. So I used to pick the top 3 things that I would do that day. Hey, Amy. And it was typically something for my business, something for my house, and something for my kids, like a kid's activity or something that had to happen that day. That was typically what it was. If it was a good day, I could get a couple things done business-wise. But now I'm having to scale back on that. I'm having to pick one small thing to accomplish in a day. And that's really all. And if I try to do more than that, well, one of 2 things is going to happen. I'm either going to get to the end of the day and feel like I didn't accomplish anything because I didn't, get everything done that was on my list, or I'm going to totally overdo it and I'm going to pay for it the next day. So, whether you're dealing with chronic fatigue or something like that, or migraines, I struggle with those as well. Like, you need to be realistic about what you can get done in a day. Pick one thing, one top priority that you're going to deal with. So that's what I'm doing right now, just picking one thing. So today my priority was making chicken noodle soup, because my husband we had roasted chicken when he was home, and he had put the broth on to cook in the slow cooker. So all I had to do was make a plan of how to do that. So I needed to know what my steps were so that I could see that it's going to be realistic. So I know I have to cut up veggies, and I know I have to saute them, and then I have to add the broth, and then I have to add the seasonings and the chicken, and then I have to add the noodles, right? So those are kind of the steps. So I could see that I could break it up throughout my day to pace myself, and what I had to do. And if I hadn't looked at what the steps were and broken it up and just waited until like 3 o'clock and then decided to try to do it all, I probably wouldn't have succeeded, because, well, I can guarantee I wouldn't have succeeded, because I cut the carrots up and I needed a break. But I started at like 9 this morning, so I had time to take a break and then go back to it and do a little bit at a time. So that's what I mean by pacing yourself throughout the day. So if you look at the steps that are involved and what you need to do throughout the day, and you may look at the steps that are involved and go, okay, that's actually not reasonable to get done in a day. And that's important to realize as well, because that's going to prevent you at the end of the day from feeling like you're a failure, right? Like, we women do not need that any more than we already feel it. So build in breaks throughout the day like I did. So I could see that I could do that. I could cut the carrots, and then I went and had a break. Then I cut the onions, and then I went and had a break. I sauteed those and added the broth, and then I let it simmer. That's a natural break, right? And then I added the chicken and the seasonings, and you let it simmer some more, and it's still simmering. And now I just have to cook the noodles and add those. So, it's manageable to do throughout a day, and it's not going to leave me feeling completely exhausted. And I know I have to go out to guides tonight. We're going to paint ceramic mugs, so that's going to be super fun. But I know I need energy to do that, so I needed to rest a lot during the day. And I also overdid it yesterday. And that's another thing that you're going to find, is that you're going to overdo it. And I think we as women do that anyway, like do so much that you're completely exhausted the next day, right? And so I woke up this morning at like 4:30 with a really sore foot, and I just felt tired like from when I woke up. So I knew I had overdone it yesterday, And it sounds pathetic, but I had a bunch of laundry that I had to get done. So my kids like put it in and out of the washer. I folded it. They helped put it away. But it was just enough loads. And plus I worked out first thing in the morning because I was feeling good then. And then I did the laundry, and that involved a couple of trips up and down the stairs. And then I had a bath as well. So the combination, you know, put me over the edge, and it was too much. And it was, you know, I was quite exhausted and sore this morning. So I'm trying to avoid that, but sometimes you don't figure out what your limits are and where the boundaries should be until you overdo it, unfortunately. So, you know, I think that's just the way it is. Yeah, Amy, you need to get more sleep. Yeah, it's important. Like, it's important to find that balance. And you know what? It's okay if you mess up and you overdo it. And I'm not beating myself up about it. Yesterday was a rough day for me. It was really emotional. And, you know, it was obvious how much, you know, how much time everything is going to take and how much less I can do than I'm normally used to. And it was kind of like a bit of a grieving process, which I'm sure is going to continue. But I overdid it, and you know, I've learned from it. So today I spent a lot more time on the couch binge watching Outlanders, which that was like my favorite book series for a long time. And so I didn't even know it was on Netflix, so that's pretty exciting. So I've done a lot of relaxing and taking it easy today, which I know I need to do, but still hard. So I also am trying to remind myself that this is temporary and it won't last, and I will be able to do more. And you know, that's where I'm at today. So I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. But I know this is going to be an up and down process. And I'd love to hear from you if you're coping with any kind of injury, and your insight and your tips about how to survive. I would love to hear it, because I'm sure we need to support each other, and I'm sure, I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like I need all the help I can get. So I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks so much for joining.